All right, let's jump right in. Picture this. You're sitting in the left seat of a Cessna 152. You can smell the avgas, you feel the yoke right there in your hands, and your practical test examiner is sitting right next to you. Your heart's probably beating a little fast. But before you even think about turning that key and firing up the engine, there is a vital ritual you have to perform absolutely perfectly: the crew briefing. Today, we're turning this explainer into your ultimate pre-flight study guide. We are going to lock down the exact phrasing and sequence you need to absolutely ace the Cessna 152 crew briefing on your practical test. If you are using this as a study tool to memorize your flow, you have found the perfect place.
So here is our roadmap for today. 1. The practical test briefing. 2. Establishing command. 3. Transferring flight controls. 4. Weather and airport navigation. And finally 5. The sterile cockpit rule.
Section 1. The practical test briefing. Your blueprint for success. Now, as we all know, aviation is an industry built entirely on structured checklists and absolute clarity. There's just no room for guessing when you're about to take an aircraft into the sky. This briefing we're talking about, it isn't just a formality to impress your examiner, it's the foundational safety blueprint for your entire flight. Take a look at this. This is the actual physical briefing card used right there in the cockpit. Notice how it's laid out? You've got the passenger brief on the left, the crew brief on the right, and the specific ATIS and operational data fields down below. Now zero in on that highlighted section right in the middle. That is the exact real-world text you are going to use. As a student prepping for a check ride, you literally don't need to invent your words on the spot. The script is right here. By studying this exact text, you totally eliminate the nerves. You're just executing a learned procedure. Moving on to Section 2, Establishing Command. Who is flying the plane? Okay, before you do anything else, you and the examiner have to establish authority and legal responsibility. This is absolutely crucial, and I want you to say this exact phrase out loud with me right now so it really sticks. You are the pick, and I am acting pick for this flight. Let's break that down for a second. PIC stands for pilot in command. Now, during a practical test, the examiner is legally the pilot in command. However, you are the one being tested on your ability to act as the pilot in command, right? So you confidently state that the examiner is the pick, but you are the acting pick for this flight. Boom. That single sentence instantly clears up any legal ambiguity.
Section 3. Transferring flight controls. The physical rules of flying.
All right, we've got legal commands sorted, so let's move to the physical rules of flying. Preventing any confusion over who is actually manipulating the yoke and pedals is a massive safety deal in aviation. In a dual-control aircraft, you need absolute certainty. So to build a totally foolproof system, we use a precise, chronological three-step method for a positive exchange of flight controls. It goes exactly like this. Step 1, the pilot handing over the plane says, "You have the controls." Step 2, the pilot taking the plane confirms by saying, "I have the controls." And Step 3, the first pilot verifies the transfer is complete by repeating, "You have the controls." It leaves exactly zero room for that terrifying, "Wait, I thought you were flying" assumption.
It's practically the ultimate rule of 3 for aviation communication. You have the controls, I have the controls, you have the controls. Go ahead and rhythmically drill this exact phrase into your memory right now. During your check ride briefing, you must clearly and authoritatively let the examiner know that this is the only way flight controls will be transferred during your flight together.
Section 4. Weather and airport navigation. Zooming out to the environment.
At this point in the briefing, we're shifting our focus from the internal rules of the cockpit out to the external environment. This sets up your situational awareness. Listen to the commitment you need to make out loud here. We'll get the latest weather and runway information from ATIS/AWAS before taxi. You are verbally committing to gathering that essential automated weather and runway data before the wheels ever move. It tells the examiner, hey, you're a proactive pilot. You understand that you simply cannot safely plan a taxi route or departure without knowing the current winds, the altimeter setting, and the active runway. And once you have that weather, you actually need to know where you're going. Think about this critical contrast, having your iPad airport diagram current and ready versus trying to navigate a maze of unknown taxiway layouts from memory. No thanks. During your briefing, you must explicitly state, "I have the current airport diagram on my iPad." This proves you're fully prepared to visually verify your taxi routing. You're actively preventing runway incursions and showing the examiner you rely on current data, not just guesswork.
Section 5. The sterile cockpit rule. Eliminating distractions.
Okay, now we hit what is arguably the most serious part of the briefing, laying down strict behavioral rules for the high workload phases of your flight.
burn these 4 specific instances right into your brain. You have to tell the examiner, sterile cockpit is in effect during taxi, takeoff, landing, and below 1,000 feet. What does this actually mean in practice? It means absolutely no unnecessary conversation or distractions. No chatting about your weekend plans, no pointing out cool landmarks unless it's strictly related to the flight. By stating this clearly, you take total command of the cockpit environment and you put safety above all else.
But, we do have to resolve the tension of that strict sterile cockpit rule just a bit. You've just told your examiner to stay perfectly quiet during critical phases, but what if there's a problem? That brings us to your ultimate safety net. You instruct them, if you see traffic or any safety issue, please let me know immediately. This empowers the other person in the cockpit to speak up, breaking the sterile rule only for immediate safety concerns. It's just a textbook example of excellent crew resource management.
Finally, you look over at your passenger or examiner and you ask the very last phrase of the real-world crew briefing. Any questions? It's such a simple question, but it officially closes out the briefing and opens the floor for any necessary clarifications before you start the engine. Now, I actually want to flip that question back to you since you're using this explainer to study. Think about the flow we just built together, from establishing PIC to the 3-step control transfer to weather, taxi diagrams, and the sterile cockpit. Have you memorized the sequence? Are you truly ready for your practical test? Just keep running through this until your answer is a 100% undeniable yes. Thanks for learning with us today.